Hey guys, I'm Jonas on occasion, and today, ZEPHON! We get to play ZEPHON. This is the like pre-release build, but not like a demo that we've played previously. This is the early access to the full game that is out in 4 days. I get it early because I'm a special boy. But yeah, in 4 days' time, on November the 8th, you can play this game. Why would you want to play this game? Because it's a 4X by the makers of Gladius, which is one of my favourite games. It's comfort food for me. It's like a delicious biscuit. It's nice and Moorish. You can go through a whole plate of them. And although if someone said, you're going to die in 10 minutes, what do you want for dinner? I probably wouldn't say a biscuit, but, I'm still going to clear a plate. And that to me is what Gladius is. And honestly, kind of what ZEPHON is too. I find this game is hella Moorish. It's really great like that. So we're going to start a new game. We're going to be playing as the Practical Romantic, who is one of the new leaders. So each of these leaders have their own like weird quirks, weird bonuses and things, as you'd expect from a 4X. But largely speaking, they all have you can see human affinity. They all have like a certain affinity. There's basically 3 branches to the tech tree, but you can actually research whatever the hell you like, which is interesting. You can research from other people's tech trees, pretty much. But you're better at doing your affinity, right? Makes sense. So there's humanity, and then there's cyber and voice. So voice is kind of it's like the voice of like Cthulhu speaking from a different dimension, giving you weird psychic and mutant powers. Classic. Cyber is, well, what you'd expect. It's all like, cyber people. Human is more that like classic sci-fi thing of like, soldiers and mech suits and tanks, that kind of thing. So yeah, all pretty standard. Video Game plays the Practical Romantic though, because he's one of the new ones. Fun! And we're going to go into human stuff. So we're going to be pretty traditional, the sort of... we're going to play as the bad guys from Avatar, and fighting aliens and robots and stuff. Should be fun. So every innocent death tears the romantic soul, but his hope for humanity drives him on. Start with militants and gain early access to human technologies. Scavenger. The romantic survived the apocalypse on the streets, salvaging everything he could to stay alive. Units generate resources by defeating enemies, which is pretty damn handy, to be honest. There is hope. His tongue was as silver as his beard. Spend influence to restore a unit's morale. So as a unit lowers its morale, it'll be less effective in combat. Pretty standard. Heartfelt loss. The romantics people had more hope to lose when disaster struck. Morale losses are increased. And reallocate, which is their elite move. They all have an elite thing. Once a kind soul gave the romantic a second chance, now he does the same for his people. Reallocate units to regain resources and speed up production. I don't entirely know how this works. I think it's basically you disband a unit and it turns them into resources and production. Because it's like, oh, you're a soldier. Well, now you're a librarian and you get to make a library tank. I don't think there's a library tank. I made that up. I just went with librarian for some reason and thought, what would you produce? Tanks. So, it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to, okay? It's my prerogative. It's my channel. I can talk crap if I want. So, before the fall, I would have quailed at the burning of a book. Now, in this freezing hell we have inherited, a Bible is just fuel and man is just meat. Before the earth died, the Practical Romantic was a teacher. He took great joy in communicating poetry and wisdom to his pupils, raising the next generation to have warm hearts and open minds to welcome all. In the dark of the apocalypse bunkers, alongside his school peers, his mind was changed. He saw children and adults fighting for scraps of cloth to stay warm, killing for meat. He did more than watch. Eventually, he and his ashamed tribe emerged into the ruined world, a sadder, wiser romantic. Though his idealism hasn't changed, the romantic is now more cautious and more practical. He will fight to preserve the riches of humanity, but recognise that those riches are only of use if humanity actually survives and is led by good people like himself. To rebuild a good world, in pursuit of that dream, the romantic will do anything to survive. Which could be that, he is really trying to just make the world as good a place as possible and look after his people, or it could be that he is a absolute genocidal freak who is going like, well, I'm a good person, because, what I do is for the betterment of mankind. So he might just be, we'll see. But I think we are going to be committing Plenty of atrocities. We're going to be killing a lot of people and having a right old good time. So there is a diplomatic way to win this game, but conquest seems to be the more straightforward, so we'll see how ruthless our practical romantic ends up being. It will be a little claustrophobic because we're playing on large, which is recommended for 6 players, and we're playing with 8. So that's going to be trickier. Also, game speed is standard. I usually play on like fast or very fast when I'm playing these games, like this in Gladius, but I'm playing on standard to be a little different. You know, we can really take our time with our units, and we might have to be a bit more cautious because we can't just churn out new ones as quickly. It's yeah, it's going to be new to me for sure. There's also advanced parameters. You can turn like things like iron mode. There's also so quest pace. You will get quests occasionally, which seem randomized, I think. I think just random stuff shows up. But also here, escalation pace adjusts how quickly the escalation towards the finale progresses, and if at all. I don't know what this is, because the end game has never been in any of the demos. So I don't know what this is going to be. I also know that there's a sort of Hades-style story element that evolves as you play through the game, you know, repeated times. I don't know what that entails either, but that's really interesting for a 4X game to use elements like that to make it more, you know, more replayable. Really interesting, and yeah, just huge amount of stuff like changing, yeah, technology tiers and a density of different tiles in the world gen and all sorts of stuff. Also, a bunch of mutators, which are really interesting. They will do really extreme stuff, like doubling the effect of loyalty in the game. Breaking a unit's morale will capture it. Like, there's really interesting stuff. So they really change up the game. I don't know how to unlock any of these. It all just says they're locked. I have no idea how you unlock them. Maybe it's through quests. I don't know. We can cheat to enable them all, apparently, but I don't want to do that, because I want to find out how they're unlocked. Right, this has taken ages. But, you know, it's a 4X game. There's always a lot of prep in finding out what we're doing. So, yeah, I think we're good. Let's get to it.
We were not ready for their divine judgment. We were tested, and almost everyone just failed. Their dark mysticism shattered an era of enlightenment and ushered in the dusk of the 21st century. Billions of lives were lost in a heartbeat, turned to ash, and cast away in the wind. Our soldiers were gone, but our weapons kept fighting, driven by an enigma in the networks. Their surviving forces waged a desperate crusade against the machines. We became bystanders to a relentless war. Now our world is an ever-twisting nightmare. Hellish threats lurk in every whisper and shadow. There is no glory, only survival. Deliver us from this trial. Reclaim our world for mankind.
And here we are. So, meat tree. Flesh tree. Love a flesh tree. Flesh trees are really, really good. I know it's such a weird thing to start the game with. I'm just very excited that we got the flesh tree nice and near our base. They're really useful. Anyway, right. So we're going to build a town. Going to build our city. Probably building it by the flesh tree is not a bad idea. Probably not a bad idea, to be honest. Big bonuses to food from the flesh tree. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We're kind of near a volcano. It's fine. Flesh tree's fine. Hope it doesn't burn down. Can it burn down? I don't know. So, kind of like Civ and Gladius and the ZEPHON demo. You know, all things you probably are familiar with. I don't know. I'm going to pretend like you don't necessarily know the basics, because, you know, it's the first ZEPHON thing after release. I'm sure there's some new people here. Hi, new people. But basically, build a city, right? You acquire tiles in order to build on them. The top number on each tile is how many building slots there are for other buildings. Each building takes 1 building slot, real straightforward. The little icons here with the percentages, if you build a building that produces those resources here, you get that much bonus to the production from those buildings. Really straightforward. Here though, this flesh tree, there's a bunch of little nodes around the map that you can take over that will give you like a passive, resource production, right? So you can see the top figure, that +2 food each turn. That you get just from capturing it. If someone just runs, there's another one down there. If someone just runs up to it, it'll turn our color. If someone else runs into it, it'll turn their color. We want to kind of protect them. But it'll give you that top resource, just that +2. When it says that 20% food inside city, that's if you acquire the tile from the city, and acquire that tile, that'll be a 20% well, not quite global, but city-wide bonus. So anywhere you build food production in the city will get that 20% bonus, which makes them very, very powerful. Also, specifically for the meat tree, generates meat harvest every 10 turns. So you get to, trim some of the meat fruit off the meat tree, and it gives you extra growth for the city. Growth gives us new population, and you need 1 population per building to run them. So you don't need to necessarily have as much population as you do buildings, but some buildings will be inactive if you don't have the population for them. You can swap them around, but generally you want population and the amount you're building to kind of keep up with one another, so you can get full production of everything you're building. Sometimes you might go, well, I don't need any more infantry, and you turn the barracks off and put them towards something else. There's wiggle room there. But broadly speaking, well, not broadly speaking, just the rules of the game, you need a population to run a building. So there you go. So that's all that. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's kind of building in a nutshell. There we go. We nailed it. So we're going to need to acquire a tile. Actually, we're not going to need to acquire a tile. I'm just going to build a barracks here. Straight away, I'm just going to build that barracks. It's going to take 6 turns, which is bloody ages. But yeah, it'll be fine there. So barracks will allow us to get more militants. We have some militants here. Hello, fellas. So there are also these caches. So we just found a cache. There's also another one by that volcano, and there's another one over here. There's also some algae tanks. They'll give us algae, which we don't really use for anything, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we don't use for anything. But it will put hit points up for station biological units, so I guess it's worth keeping. And we can trade it, I suppose. So there are some reasons to keep it around. But one thing that is fun with this game, and neutrals declared war on us. Dun dun dun. And with Gladius as well, is every time you discover anything, it'll tell you about it. And especially for this completely new setting, it's very useful to know what the hell things are. So bleed, that is this stuff, all this purple, mist, and all these little tentacles, that's bleed. The voice's tendrils bled out from one reality and into our own, prying open a door to madness. So the voice, like I said, it's that's the units that are like the Lovecraftian horror stuff. So the fact that the aliens came and they follow the voice, they are basically pulling extra-dimensional beings into our world and causing all the mutations and tentacles and things. So that's kind of how that sprung into being. Doesn't mean that humans aren't also capable of following the voice and having a bunch of their mutant guys in their faction. So, fun. So they bled out from one reality and into our own, prying open a door to madness. These should not have plagued our Earth. Their sickly, slimy extremities reached out in search of flesh or metal to ensnare. I can't even escape the sight of them in my sleep. Some nights, often on a full moon, I wake sweating, still feeling the phantom pull of them dragging me to the earth. I assumed this was all in my head, but I've heard the whispers in the mess hall. Others dream of being crushed too. If you stand to bleed, you get hurt. It's that simple, really. It'll just hurt you every turn. Unless you're a weird mutant boy, in which case you can run around in it freely. There's a lot of that sort of thing in this game. Sort of very, very asymmetrical, interactions with the world. So you can see we are against the side of the map. It doesn't, rotate. It's not a globe. It's just a big square or rectangle, I guess. Actually, I think it is a square. I think it is. Just perspective means that it looks more like a rectangle. But yeah, I think the map size is a square. Anyway, who cares, really? Gonna move you down here too. What is this? Why do we have that tile? Did the cache show us that tile or something? What on earth happened? I have no idea. Anyway, let's look at the flesh tree, shall we? I nearly walked away the day we decided to use these as a food source, but one smart logistics officer pinned me down with the math. If we camped by one of these trees, we could feed our people for a month. I asked them not to tell me if it turned out to be human meat. Yeah, we don't really know what this is made out of. It's just meat. It's just a meat tree. It could have been that was a guy that mutated into a tree. Could be a tree that mutated into a guy. I mean, who can really say? I certainly can't. Recycling tanks. Disgusting stuff. Voice cults eking out pathetic living in the wastes built these facilities to manufacture more algae. So I think algae is, I don't think it's just algae. I think it's just they call it algae. But I think that's the food source that the Akron, which is the aliens that worship the voice, I think they use that as a food source. I'm pretty sure, and I think that helps them connect to the voice or something. I think there's something weird going on there. But we'll figure this stuff out as we go. It's supposed to be a web of crazy sci-fi nonsense, so, you know, we'll figure it out eventually. No need to build graveyards when you can just dump bodies eviscerate into a toxic pit that turned out a vile meat slush. I kept a particle mask on while visiting sites like these. Amazingly, we just seem to be in the neighbourhood that just has everything full of meat. I do promise there is other stuff, though. Let's look at the cities. Urban warfare is brutal. Every piece of cover that protects your troops feels like it gives double the shielding to your enemy. I preferred defending cities under siege than street-to-street fighting. In a siege, you felt solidarity with civilians and other soldiers. In the streets, you could only trust your squad. Anyone else might sell you out. I assumed this would tell us something about the cities that used to be, but no, apparently not. It just tells you what a city is, which is a shame. A pity. Human cache. So yeah, these are the caches. You know, they're on the map. They give you a one-off random reward, which is quite fun. We'd find traces of other groups while out on recon, pre-war or recent survivors. There'd be found abandoned gear by a campfire, dust-covered resource caches, occasionally a lone soul who struck out on their own. Another fighting hand was always welcome, but their stories about making it out on their own, that inspiration, had its own value. Okay, research. So big old research tree. Big old research tree, lots of things to research. This is showing us everything though. And we don't want to get anything from the voice or anything from cyber. We just want human and misc, which leaves us with this stuff, which is still, you know, pretty good. So what we're going to do is... I like that influence when you first discover an outpost, but we're not going to get that yet. There's three things here that I think are really important to get early. Automated factory lets us get vehicles, including the Outrider, which is a transport vehicle, which is quite handy, because frankly our militants are fragile as hell. Or frag grenades, I think, is really useful, because that gives our militants frag grenades, which honestly gives them a fighting chance. They can throw a grenade once every 10 turns, or say it has a 10-turn cooldown, probably makes more sense. And those grenades have splash damage, so against groups of enemies it does more damage, which is really good in the early stages where we're basically just fighting random roving bands of reavers and things. So we're going to want to have frag grenades so they can basically like alpha strike the enemy, do a bunch of damage, because as units take damage they will become less combat effective. You know, it's a big group of people. As they take damage, some of those people will die, and so they'll have fewer attacks. So if you can do a bunch of damage quickly, they will be able to do less damage in kind to you. So frag grenades I think are really useful there, but a commander, really good support unit. Really good to have. They can really look after themselves and also buff our militants. So do we make our militants able to look after themselves or get someone to look after them? Either way, we're going to need more militants, and both of these done eventually. So which one do we do first? They both cost the same research cost. I'm going to go frag grenade. Commanders first, because we need to recruit him too. And actually, it's only going to take a turn because we picked up a bunch of extra research in those caches, which is amazing. And it does carry over, so that's actually huge. So we've already paid for that. And yeah, so 33 accumulated. We're getting 6.3 per turn from our buildings and the loyalty bonus. So yeah, we found a hell of a lot of research. Researching Commander on turn 1 is amazing. It's actually really good to have that. This is a good start. I hope it carries on being good. This game can really spin on a dime. You know, it can come back with a vengeance. So frag grenades next. That is going to take 4 turns. It would have taken 4 turns to get a commander. I don't even have the money for him because we haven't been able to accrue enough influence yet. Wow. Okay, I didn't even consider that. We should have done grenades. Then we could have at least used them. Oh God, really? Yeah, like I said, things can turn quickly. These things are really frightening. So amazingly, these are helicopters, but they have hammerheads. They're actually melee units. You know, melee helicopters, of course. Your little hands, look at the little hands. Ugh. Anyway. Oh no, they do have a laser gun. They do have a laser gun. I'm sure I've seen the melee. Did they not used to melee? Because I always found it really funny that they did that. How unusual. Okay, they got laser guns now. Maybe they thought it was too silly and changed it. Or maybe I'm misremembering it completely. But anyway, let's have a look at the hammerheads. So hammerheads were powerful if incoherent tools. Once provoked into combat, they'd pick a target and batter it repeatedly. Yeah, so like physically, with each blow more powerful than the last. Perversely, when at peace, these machines were like robotic gardeners, specialised in eradicating the bleed of the voice. Which is rather handy. Mechanical flyers tasked with capturing outposts, removing bleed. And, yeah, they have laser guns now. So I think it might change that. Which is interesting. Huh. Anyway, laser guns are cool, because they got like a big alpha strike. Kind of like a grenade. They got a big alpha strike, and then it gives a low power debuff to themselves. So they shoot once for a lot of damage, and then they're doing half damage for a couple of turns while their power restores. Which I think is kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know, I didn't think hammerheads had that. Super weird. And there's also reavers. Spooky. Desperation drove some of our people to terrible ends. In what might have been humanity's last hours, they traded theirs away for better odds of staying alive in the wasteland. Their bodies walked the earth, but the people inside them faded away with every passing day. Man. And a sandstorm. Darude is in this game. Armour could block the sun, scanners could penetrate the darkness, but nothing could protect your mind from the wrath of it all. Lightning, sand, and wind all blurred together, and the earth roared in vengeance. It knew about the violence we'd brought to its surface, and this storm was its way of fighting back. So this is a feature, and what I really love about this stuff is it's dynamic. Sometimes there's sandstorms in tiles, and sometimes there isn't. They'll move around the map. And yeah, just change what the tiles are like, which I think is amazing. So yeah, it'll limit movement, limit line of sight, but give cover as well from ranged weapons.
This isn't
which,
the world I knew.
Honestly, might be something I have to do here. Because I can barely do any damage to that guy. And he's going to be able to do a lot of damage to me.
This isn't the world I knew.
Do I bring them all over here and just try and nuke it? Because if I can kill this thing quickly, that would be great, you know? That would be really nice. Alright, we're gonna... You lose sight when you're sat in it, obviously. Christ, okay, I'm gonna grab that. And I'm gonna move him over here. Alright, I'm gonna try and get into position. So we can shoot that guy from here. I think if it does try and move in, I don't think he'll be able to see them unless he's within one tile of us. He's got 2 range on that, so he might move forward here to shoot at them, in which case both of these will overwatch. And the reason why I care about him moving forward and us overwatching instead of me shooting him now is because our guns, our assault rifles, they have close quarters fire. So plus 100% attacks at half range. Their range is 2, so if someone gets within one tile of them, they do double damage. It's worth doing, you know, very much worthwhile. So you sit tight, I think.
Fine. Whatever keeps us alive.
And they are taking some damage with the sandstorm, but very little. There is an outpost over here, though. I would like to grab that. Whatever that is. I could converge on it. I could try and converge on it.
It's better than just sitting here.
Oh, sentries as well? They're not going to shoot us? No, because we're in the forest. So they will be able to see us, but walking into range... and then visibility proccing because we're on the edge of it, like that doesn't trigger it. I don't know if that's if I described that well, but basically they're not going to shoot us. But sentries are a bit scary. So yeah, they apply crippled, so we'll be slower. It'll basically suppress us. Spraying, you know what? Let's actually look at their full thing here. ZEPHON wanted nothing to do with us. ZEPHON is the sort of rogue AI that the Akron chased to our planet, that took over all of our planes and things and started just like rebuilding all of our all of our mechanical things into new horrors, wanted nothing to do with us, it could have just told us that directly. So that's the cyber tech tree, is kind of, the ZEPHON based stuff. Instead, it posted up sentries that looked to be guarding something. We learned really quickly that they could hold a grudge. If you were the kind of grunt who liked to stomp ants because they couldn't hit back, boy were these things a pain in the ass. More like an ant that would chew through your boot and try to take a few toes out before you put it down. That's a bad ant. So, mechanical robots designed to guard an area. Scary.
Ain't no such thing as safe anymore.
Right? Oh, where could you go? Maybe there, but there might be a hole in the ground. No, that's a city, I think.
Ain't no such thing as safe anymore.
Okay. There's also a cache there. A cyber cache. Do I move into here and shoot as well?
Dying today.
God, I really don't want to provoke them, but I also really want them dead. And the bleed is going to hurt us, is the problem. So we have a cyber cache. Machines don't need to squirrel away supplies, and they sure as hell don't leave anything behind when they abandon a base. So what were these doing out at the wastes? Was someone or something experimenting on us? Dispensing supplies to see how it changed the face of the war? All the years, I still don't know who's behind them. Again, gives you a random reward, but a cyber reward. So that's fun. Love a cyber reward.
This is the world I knew.
How much damage does bleed actually cause? Compendium. Bleed. Is there not a search bar? Why isn't there a search bar? There should be a search bar. Bleed. Deals damage each turn. It's 2 damage. But is it... It's 4 attacks though. So like potentially a lot, I guess? I just really want to take some shots at this thing. I kind of don't want to take shots at that thing. Are they going to shoot us? Have we provoked it yet? I don't know. Look, I'm gonna move into here just so I can get some more shots on it. Because look, we destroyed one, so it can attack back less now, and that is honestly kind of a big deal. I think I might start shooting them too. Okay, it's something. It's something. Oh boy. I really wish we'd get that commander going. But yeah, we might have to just run away with everybody. It's okay, they took 2 damage. Okay. Oh, Reavers coming out? Oh, interesting. I think there's another player below us and it's drawing these guys' attention, which means we can grab these caches and things relatively safely. It's still 2 turns until we get a frag grenade. So I'm going to move this injured unit onto the outpost. Because here, you can see, hit points for stationed biological unit each turn. They're going to heal up. But also, outposts in general provide a bonus to healing if you basically don't do anything for a turn. You can heal anywhere, except places you're taking damage. But if you aren't taking damage and you're not moving, right, then you just heal. Everyone heals if you just sit tight. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, got it. Ain't no such thing as
Right.
safe anymore.
So yeah, moving means he won't heal. That's fine. He doesn't need to. That's why I put them there, because they seem to just get passive healing from that tank. In fact, we have a couple of these. So I could just hold out in these places. Like, quite well, I reckon. So these Acrin remnants, they're way better than our militants. They're way better than our militants. They can even spread, they conjure bleed. And they can heal. Ugh. Yeah, they're pretty grim. In fact, let's have a look at them. Acrin remnants. So these are the Acrin are the aliens. That little googly eye. Is that supposed to be a little googly eye? I don't think that's supposed to be a little googly eye, but it looks like a little googly eye. It might be a googly eye. Acrin survivors used the whispers of the voice to keep their people alive on a broken planet. When drafted into battle, every one of them was capable of regenerating a broken body. They were skilled at tearing them apart, too. Biological bleed walkers with strong healing powers and the ability to conjure bleed. Rough. Rough. I'm going to move here. We're going to leave that cache for now. I want to be somewhere safe. Outposts also do give you some damage reduction. So do forests. They give you some cover. Okay, we can finally get a commander. And, let's see. Set rally point. Over here, I guess. Alright. So, you are healed up. Love that. Love these algae balls or whatever they are. Really great. And we got Dynamel's plate. We got an item. This is +1 armor. These you can only give to heroes, such as our commander that we're training, which is really, really nice. Very nice indeed. Really good to have. So they've taken 1 damage. It's a bit rubbish. And I think that's going to trigger Overwatch, judging from the little icon above their heads. I think that's what that icon means. I'm going to assume. Let's move you forward 1. We discovered the Whispering Whites. Well, great. And our city just went up a population. So we have 1 population working the construction yard, and then 1 for the barracks when that's finished building. So you can see we've got the population, and then in brackets is how many are like required. So also, I guess, how many are used if you're just letting it automatically do this. But yeah, we have 1 building, so we need 1, but we have 2. That's good. That's a good thing. Right.
This isn't the world I knew.
Okay, not a problem. Right, sentries are coming in. Wow, that did a lot of damage. But we got frag grenades, which aren't really great against those kind of things. We found the first of these in old garrisons marked with forgotten flags. Some civilians in our group commented that these were once changed the face of warfare. Now they were just the starting point, the base level of power we'd need to win the wars ahead. Okay, let's start some more research. So this puts up production in barracks, which I quite enjoy. We could get a laboratory. New building type. There's more research. I think that's probably worth getting, honestly. I think that's worth getting early. Extra 5% resource from kills. And that is nice to have. The extra influence from capturing outposts I really do enjoy. It's just that will run out eventually, basically. Because you run out of outposts, so it's you know, it's not the greatest thing ever.
We'll make it through. We have to. Shooting.
Okay, let's start blasting.
No such thing as safe anymore.
I'm going to get closer to it so I can do more damage. And, I mean, there's only 2 left. Can I kill another one somehow? Probably not. I think you just need to run away, honestly. And these 2 will have to handle it. I mean, there's only 2 now. These guys might come in and just shoot the crap out of me. And there's the Akron Zealots up here, which I can shoot with my little rockets. Nice, isn't it? So yeah, the buildings, you know, your cities can look after themselves to an extent. So the Akron Zealot. Pity the grunts. One day they learned about the Zealots, Akron, who could walk into one patch of bleed tendrils and emerge from another. Next thing, every bleed hub had a bunch of idiot soldiers outside it, like the Akron were just going to walk into their bullets. Jesus, where do we find these people? Biological bleed walkers with crippling melee weapons and the ability to teleport between bleed tiles. That's a little frightening. A little frightening there. Right, let's end the turn. Suffering some damage from the sandstorm. The sandstorm in the forest, which is interesting. Don't like you
Ain't no such thing as safe anymore.
coming over here and damaging the crap out of me.
Take much more of this.
Not a fan. Might be able to throw grenades at this guy. We are healing just by being sat there, which is amazing. We could throw a grenade. I feel like it's sort of a waste of a grenade, but we need to start trimming,
Ain't no such thing as safe anymore.
you know, their numbers down a bit.
It's better than just sitting here.
Because now, see, they can't kill us. They can't kill us. And that's all I need.
This isn't the world I knew.
Grenade? 2.8 damage or 2.5? God, it feels like such a waste on a grenade. It'll be another 10 turns before we get them again. So how much health they got? 7, and we can do 2.5 and 3. If we do 3.3, then the next grenade isn't going to do as much damage. I'm not sure we're going to be able to destroy this. So I think I'm just going to shoot them. Yeah, I don't think we could have killed them all. But that's fine. We'll shoot that. We also found an arc discharge. You can see it over here. Zippity zapping. Do you know what this was? ZEPHON's wiring ran under everything, everywhere, miles and miles of raw copper. These arcs were a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of ZEPHON's power lashing out at you. You could take advantage of the power if you wanted, but your enemies could too. So this is really fun. This stuff, I think this also travels around the map a bit. I think this is like a sandstorm, it's not always present. But when you're stood in it, you do 10% extra damage, but you do 5% damage to yourself. Which is kind of fun. Kind of fun. I like that. But yeah, this is getting rather exciting, I must say. But we're holding, that's what matters. Something else might show up, we'll see. We do have the ability to recruit some militants, so that's really good news. That 20% extra food is nice and everything, but 20% of like +7 is, well, it's 8, is not huge. I think we need to start taking some more tiles. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to build a greenhouse farm on it before I bother getting this tile. I think that'll be useful. But hey, we have recruitment buildings now. We're able to recruit some militants. That is a big deal. Oh no, you're going to try and shoot him too. Yes, but you're not going to kill us. Thank God we have this recycling tank. Honestly, it's insane. Like, we would have lost this unit twice by now. Like, so good that we have this still. And like, honestly, we're healing plenty. It's pretty great. Oh, you can't quite finish them from there? That's annoying. If you moved forwards, if you hold control, right? Yeah, so you will. If you hold control, it tells you how much damage you do. So damage you can see on the side, by the way. If you hold control, it puts them into optimal range. If you just hold right-click on an enemy, it'll show you how much damage you do to them in like minimum range and then optimal range. See? Well, minimum range, maximum range. The first tile you get to where you can shoot them, or the tile you get to where all of your guns can shoot them, or they do max damage. So I could do that, but I kind of want him to be sat in his healy dealy. So and I can kill another one of them. Yeah, let's do that. And yeah, let's kill another. And then you move in and finish that guy off. And this should give us some resources as well. We just got +1 minerals and, was it chips or algae? I think chips. So that's nice, getting some resources. It's pretty pathetic, honestly, the amount of resources we're getting for a kill. But I guess that kind of thing doesn't necessarily grant as much. I don't know. But god, the fact these guys are healing through this is amazing. Oh god. That noise. Christ. Sorry everyone for the jump scare. You don't expect a jump scare in a 4X game, do you? Anyway, if only your explorers had been more cautious, but one of them picked up something horrible in the dark corners of the earth, and worse, brought it to your home city. Now the plague is raging through one of your settlements. I mean, it could just be that we put our settlement next to a meat tree. That's probably not a good place for, like, keeping plagues down. God, like, it's really made a mess of it, hasn't it? Flippin' heck. So, the strain is highly infectious and virulent, with high death rates. Scientists advise caution of the lockdown's only solution. Their freedom. What will you do? I mean, given the state of this world, you know, just having a plague rip through everything, like, we don't have the infrastructure to, you know, prolong that, frankly. I think we lock down. Only people allowed out are masked and armed enforcers, total discretion to fire, medical professionals, supply trucks. It's not popular with anyone. Well, yeah, but, you know, we're the last bastion of humanity. We need to stay alive. What plague affords the clown in the packed theatre to general laughter? When he coughs and coughs and coughs, the theatre falls silent. And we can ask Anchorite for a cure. That's interesting. The Anchorite are the... they're the Akron who have decided that the whole, like, pursuit of ZEPHON and everything is stupid, and they just want to be chill now. Which, you know, fine, I guess. Welcome to Earth. Yeah, leave factory, schools open, socialising banned, there's enforced curfew. I'm just going to go full lockdown. Okay, we've got basically no production right now, so who cares? That's my... That's my thoughts on it. Maybe it's a terrible idea. -6 loyalty for 10 turns. That is largely fine. So loyalty is a weird one. If it's positive figures, for every +1 loyalty, it's +1% production. For every negative loyalty, it's -2% production. So basically, if you have like 25 loyalty, your entire production is getting a 25%, boost to production. So quite good. But every time you have one more population, loyalty goes down by 1. So the bigger the population, the harder it is to keep up the loyalty, and the more you can sort of, you can have a giant sprawling metropolis filled with factories. They could be producing sod all because you have like really low loyalty. So anyway, your troops seal the city centres off, confining people to their homes, or worse, workplaces, enforcing the curfew brutally. For what seems like an eternity, the city sweats under your measures, to little avail. The virus survives despite your totalitarian touch, and the population loses all faith in you. But they're alive, so I'll take it. Right, let's do that.
No such thing as safe anymore.
And alright, you can finish off the last one. Which means these guys won't have acted this turn, or been attacked this turn,
It was us.
and they're already in a healing area, and they're getting bonus healing for being an outpost, so they will probably be on full health next turn. They're going to get a bunch of healing. And, oh wow, Commander next turn. Alright, we're making progress. We are making progress. I mean, to say that, we still just have 2 things producing algae that I don't think we will ever spend. And a meat tree. Generating some food, which we are using, to be fair. We are using food.
I'm not dying today.
Yeah, you sit tight, mate.
Whatever keeps us alive.
And it's true, he's not dying today. For the first time in a while, it feels like. So let's get a greenhouse farm. Here. Minerals also get 20% extra, so building some minerals there too would be really nice. So I think I'm going to do both, then I'm going to take over this area. Because, yeah, we need to get mineral production up. Because minerals, we need to build buildings and units. So that's why I queued up the extra mineral thing. I didn't want to have spent all of our minerals on upkeep on our militants before I have that queued up. So techs, researchers, scientists, they all hold up here. When I was younger, stupider, I thought this was where the soft hid from the harshness of war. That's what they wanted us to think, of course. Some of the most monstrous minds found their place here. Why pull the trigger when you could make the gun? Generates research. Lovely. Hab block, huge. We need a hab block. And hollow theatres are good too. These put up loyalty, which is nice. But yeah, habitation block and hollow theatres are both essential. You can't get through the game without these, frankly. You need both of them. We can build other cities as well at some point. Engineers are the ones that do that. So we should get that, and construction yards are useful too. That is the building. It's the building that builds buildings. And so having the building is really good. To have an extra one, because it means you can build buildings faster with the build. So, that'll be good. But habitation block, we're going to need, because there's a cap, right? There's a cap. We only have 8 spaces, so once this gets to 8, it's not going to go up anymore, and that's going to suck. And yeah, here you can see loyalty. So we're getting +2 from buildings, -3 from population. -1 total. Fine. So not too bad. But as you can see, each negative point decreases by -2. So if we look at, say, this, you can see 0.1 less per turn from loyalty. It's 10 turns, so we're going to miss out on a single mineral from this event. So yeah, losing the loyalty was absolutely fine. Oh, and we have a meat harvest. Hooray! Meat party! So hopefully... so that just went up, didn't it? That just went up. So we didn't get it up again, I don't think. 2 more turns. So we need 32. We need 32 growth. We're getting +8 per turn. And that just gave us... The meat tree just gave us 15. So yeah, huge boost. Really, really nice. It used to give just +1 population, but that was way too powerful. Because you could have a couple of these trees, so every 10 turns you'd get +2 population. Well, you could have a few, you could have a bunch. And yeah, you could just blow up your population. You could basically build a new city, and then give it
Ain't no such thing as safe
like 4 or 5 population. Oh yeah, and let's give him the plate. Click an item to equip to your hero. Well, I was trying to. You right-click. Oh, okay. Sure. And let's level you up. So, commanders. They are heroes, so they level up and they have special abilities, which is fun. Well, everything levels up, but they don't get, you know, new abilities each time. Don't get, like, skill points to spend. I like this one. All of our adjacent allied non-large units, basically like all our infantry, they're going to get extra accuracy, which means more damage. There's also more morale, which is nice. That's a free ability you can use every 3 turns to bolster morale of adjacent units. And a lot of adjacent units too. You can see that like circle is like the radius. So the arrow... Okay, so you got cooldown on the left, right? So 0 out of 3, so that's your cooldown. You can use it every 3 turns. Self means you're using it on yourself. And then the radius is next, so within 3 tiles around you. You know, so that's really nice. And then it's free, which means it doesn't cost any action points. So you can use it and then move and then attack. Really fun. This is also free every 3 turns. This will give damage, cover damage reduction. And Aura of Discipline, yeah, is just passive. It's always on. Everyone within a tile of him is going to get +1 accuracy, which means they're going to hit more things, do more damage. And then you got Bombardment. That's his like elite thing, which you unlock at level 6, which will take a little while. But yeah, I'm going to do the accuracy one. And yeah, he's got his plate. So in a turn, it'll turn on. It takes a turn to activate. Right. We should probably deal with these Acrian remnants, huh? Do I just shoot them from here? If I run up to them, then they're going to attack me back. But we're going to heal if we're here. Oh, you can't do it yet. Oh, I don't want them to get onto that spot. They got 9 out of 13 health. They've healed a lot. Let's just bring you guys over here now. There's more outposts down here. Alright, you sit tight. No one said you had to die today. Calm down. And yeah, we're getting more militants. Let's queue up another one. Yeah, you sit tight. I want you to heal up again. Alright, they're running away. Cool. I do want to grab that, though. So they are absolutely going to shoot me.
Staying focused. Just clear me a path.
Okay, good. I wanted them to shoot the commander because he's got a bunch of damage reduction. He's got 32 health. And now I can move these guys in. Grab this cash. And blast him. I can blast him. Or... I mean... It's not huge, is it? I mean, 6.1 damage. Yeah, let's try it. So, if you can use grenades, use them before you start shooting. Because if you start shooting and they lose a couple of models, the grenades will do less damage. So you don't want that. You know, you don't want that. I'll use both grenades. I want these guys cleared out. Although saying that, now I've thrown those 2 grenades, they're going to run away and I have to go around a cliff to get back to them, so this is all probably pointless. By probably, I mean entirely. God, this little area is all a bit iffy, isn't it? It's the Whispering Whites. Ugh. The hell are they? Okay, that's horrible. When I said we discovered Whispering Whites, when I saw that, I didn't realise they were a thing. Like, on the map. I thought it was like, you discovered Colonizer's End. For, like, flavour and, like, maybe to help communicate stuff on multiplayer or something? I don't know. Different areas of the map get random names. So this part of the world is called Colonizer's End. And I thought Whispering Whites was just one of those. I didn't realise it was a thing. I want to look that up. I'm not sure these were in the demo. Which is why I was just like, yeah, whatever. Everyone had a different story about what caused the nightmarish whispering out in the wasteland. Some said it was the wails of humans killed by the fulcrum. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what that's referring to. Others said it was warnings about the future from another dimension. Funny, even monsters with more eyes than limbs shrank in terror when the soft-speaking voices appeared in thin air. That's kind of cool, actually. Just if you're in the area, you lose morale. Like if you're on the tile, it's a morale damage you take. This is great to see. More outposts we might be able to nab. This might be terrible to run this way. Might be an awful idea. But it might be great. It might be great. We'll have to wait and see. Until next episode. Because we're already over time on this one. But I think this has been a pretty good introduction to ZEPHON for you guys. Just like Gladius, Control H hides the HUD, which is pretty cool. Oh, by the way, here, right, the cliffs. have these edges to them. That is an option in the options. That might not be on by default. I think I turned it on in the demo, and I think it's remembered my settings. But that is a big deal. I find it so difficult to tell if you're about to run right into a cliff if you don't have these on. I find it really helps, like, read the map. So, a little bit of advice for you if you do pick this up in 4 days. Anyway, guys, if you're enjoying this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.
We were not ready for their divine judgment. We were tested, and almost everyone just failed.